Hello, I'm Jamila Musayeva, an international etiquette consultant and author of etiquette books. If you would like to order my books, they're available for international shipment directly on my website. I'll link it here as well in the description box below. So before we get started with today's video, there are two things I wanted to share with you. One is that I see that the number of subscribers are growing on my channel. We're pretty much nearing 1 million subscribers. Thank you so much for choosing to subscribe to my channel. But I also see that the number of views is not growing as much. So if you want to be notified whenever I upload a video, please make sure to hit the bell button so you actually get notification when I upload my videos, and you make sure you don't miss out my videos. And the second announcement that I wanted to make is make sure to watch this video until the very end, because at the end of this video I'll be sharing the outfit details. I know you can only see the top, but make sure to watch until the end and I'll show you the full outfit for today's video. So by the way that you have seen my table set up and the way I laid out different kinds of glasses, you know that today's video is going to be about how to properly hold different kinds of glasses. So actually, a disclaimer is that there are a lot more different kinds of glasses than the ones I have on the table. They vary in their shape, in their length, in their size, in the way that they're designed. Some of them are different based on the design, so I would say it's a part of an interesting collection, maybe a collaboration with an artist, so the shape of the glass takes its unique form. But also some glasses are different based on the function that they're carrying, and so different drinks would be served in different kind of glasses. This one I think is the most commonly recognized glass, which is a champagne flute. You can easily recognize it because it's part of a lot of movies, all kinds of events, celebrations, weddings, symbolic of New Year's and Christmas. So this glass has a specific design. You can see that the bowl is very narrow and really long. We have a thin, long stem and a quite wider base. So if we were to dissect the glass, we have the bowl, we have the stem, and we have the base, and then we have the rim. So this is the anatomy, so to speak, of the glass. So the reason champagne is served in this kind of a designed glass is because of the way that champagne should be consumed. Champagne is served chilled. It has bubbles in it, and in order to make sure that your drink lasts longest by remaining chilled and still maintaining its bubbles, they have designed the specific glass that makes sure that those characteristics of the champagne are preserved. So this narrow bowl ensures that the bubbles will dilute a little bit longer or disappear and will last quite longer throughout the party while you're still enjoying your drink, as well as it will remain chilled for a longer time. So in etiquette, actually, all the reasons or all the rules that we are teaching have a practical purpose. So the reason we're telling in etiquette classes not to hold a champagne flute glass by the bowl of it like that, which I see happen a lot, and only by the stem, is because we want to make sure that the warmth from our fingertips, our body temperature, will not warm up the drink. That is why we have to hold it by the stem. Again, there are different ways of holding by the stem. You can pinch it between the 3 fingers. You can use the rest of your fingers as your support. There is no need to stick the pinky out. You never do that. The pinky is always tucked in, covered, so it actually looks much more elegant when we're holding like this. Sometimes you'll see people at the parties holding the champagne glass by the base like this, and this could be a good way to hold it, and not just this, all other glasses as well. When you are at the party socializing and you have your clutch tucked underneath your arm, you have your glass in your left hand if you're right-handed, and then you have your right hand actually free, and you are able to extend it for a handshake when you need to do that. And bear in mind that if we were to hold the glass, let's say like this, and because the champagne is chilled, so the water droplets will be forming on the glass, so when we are about to extend our hand for a handshake, our fingers are going to be wet, and so when we touch the person, it's not going to leave a good impression. You want to make sure that your hands are dry and that you give a really firm, a good handshake. And so holding a drink like that could be permissible at a social gathering, at a networking event, as well as if you are serving champagne for your guests, so to speak. You can lay it on your left hand, so firmly like this. You are helping your hand with your hand to balance the glass. Then you're pouring the champagne and you can offer it like that. It's actually easier to offer the glass when you're holding it like this, or if you're offered the glass like this. So if the waiter or the guy, anyone who's serving you the champagne flute is offering you like this, then you can pick it up by the base. It's always a good way to know how to hold the glass in case you need it. So when we're speaking about champagne, we cannot forget two other kinds of glasses that champagne is usually served in. Actually, this champagne flute glass became more popularized later on, and it was developed in order to ensure that champagne could be served in large social events and gatherings and avoid spillage, because it has much narrower bowl, and so the champagne would not be spilling when you're walking around holding the glass in your hand. But originally it was the coupe glass, which is the French word, and actually I did an analysis for an etiquette movie club that I host. Every month I do movie analysis in my etiquette movie club, and one of the movies that we watched, it was reflecting the early 20th century. It's an English movie, and their ladies were drinking champagne from a coupe glass. I find it a very delicate, very elegant glass, not just for champagne but also for some cocktails, and I see lately that a lot of cocktails are prepared in this coupe glass. Less of a champagne and now more cocktails are served in that glass, but it had a much larger bowl and a narrower, so it actually ensures that the aromas of champagne are opening up much faster because of the larger surface space. But because exactly of that, the bubbles would disappear much faster than in this narrower bowl that keeps the bubbles intact. Again, as we see, people trying to come up with different designs to ensure that the properties of wine or glass are kept intact for a longer period of time. We see people get very creative with the way they design the glasses. And another popular glass for champagne is a tulip glass that we see less and less actually in a lot of social events or homes. Very rarely I find some homes that would serve champagne in a tulip glass. It's like a combination of champagne flute and a bit of a white wine glass, and has a particularly distinct tulip shape that allows to keep the bubbles intact because of its shape. It's an hourglass kind of shape, and I think it's very delicate. Again, that kind of glass is less popular these days, but again, if you are collecting different kinds of glasses, then I would say that make sure that you have one in your collection. Next, we have all different kinds of glasses for white and red wine, and the way I say all different kinds is the size, the shape, the design. The big difference between a white wine glass and a red wine glass is the bowl of it and the size of it. So this is for white wine because it has much narrower, smaller bowl. It's much more delicate. And this is for red wine because it has a much larger bowl. And this one actually is also for a red wine. But the only difference is that the size of it, the size of the bowl, the height of the bowl. So when I see people that are collecting glasses and they can go really wild with all different kinds of shapes and sizes for wine glasses, but if you're not a collector and you want to make sure that you only have one glass, or you can only have one glass, I would say go for something that is of a medium size that you can serve both white and red wine in. And we have another actually wine glass, and this is more for more dessert sweet wines that are served in a much less quantity. Let me put it like this so you can see it. Again, this one is for dessert wine, something that you would serve in a lesser quantity. Again, you can see it looks a little bit in terms of its form and shape like a white wine glass, and these two have a much rounder bowls than these ones. And the way that you would hold any kind of wine glass, be it white or red, but mostly with white and dessert wines, is always by the stem, because again, to make sure that you don't warm up the drink by holding your fingers by the bowl. Also, when you hold your fingers by the bowl, it's most likely that you're going to leave fingerprints on the beautiful, delicate glass. Also, when you're drinking wine, make sure you sip from the same spot all the time, especially if you're wearing a lipstick, so you don't stain all the rim while you're trying to take a sip. So instead of having this decoration all around the rim, you'll choose one spot that is facing you, and when you put your glass back, it's facing again you, and the other side is clean to the people that are seated in front of you. I always suggest when you're going out and about to a social event or gathering, make sure you wear long wear lipstick that wouldn't leave any stain on a glass, or lip liner. I always use a mix of lip liners. I rarely use a lipstick because it leaves no stain on a glass. And again, with any kind of stemmed glass, the way you would hold it is always pinching your index, middle, and thumb like that. You can hold it up closer to the base, you can hold it down. You can also use your small finger and your pinky finger and your ring finger in order to support it, in order to add more balance to your hand when you're holding it. And when we're pouring champagne, we're only filling it up 1/3, so very little, because we want to make sure that we constantly refill it and make sure that we have the bubbles intact while we're drinking it. With the white wine, we can fill it actually 3/4 the glass, but with a red one, again, would fill it, you know, half full, so we wouldn't fill it up to the top. And the reason is because when we are swirling the wine, when we are trying to get the aromas and the color in, if we fill it up to the top, we're going to have a lot of spillage, so we want to make sure that it's half full, even less than a half full, so it's easy for us to swirl around. And also, because the bowl is large, if we fill it up too much, it's going to be very difficult to balance it holding it by the stem like that, so it's going to be very heavy. You want to make sure you just have just enough in order for you to easily pick it up, hold it, and drink it. And again, holding by the stem is always a good idea. You can use your other hand to support if you need to hold the drink for a really long time walking around the event. With a red wine, it is permissible to hold it closer by the bowl like that, you know, especially if you're having a difficult time trying to balance it. But generally speaking, the rule of elegance or etiquette is that the lower your hold is by the stem, the more delicate it looks, rather than trying to balance it like that. So if you can see how it looks if I hold the bowl like this, or the glass like this, or if I hold it delicately by the base like that, you see this looks a lot more elegant. Next, we have this beautiful martini glass. I really like the deep navy color, and I like the shape of a glass. I'm fond of this actually design of this glass. I don't drink martini, but I think it looks very nice. So the way you would hold a martini glass is you can actually use your, again, 3 fingers. So in most stemmed glasses, there are 3 fingers that are involved. It's your thumb, it's your index finger, it's your middle finger, and then your ring finger and the pinky are there to support. So you'd use this and have the rest of it as a support. So you could pinch it between these 2 or 3 fingers and then use the rest to support like that. Or you could just not use this and cover it under your palm and use this 3 fingers to pinch and hold it. It really depends on how heavy the glass and how heavy the drink is, so how it's filled up. So if it's heavier, you'll use all your hands, or all your fingers to support. So you'll use all the 3 and the 2 ones to support. But if it's quite light and you can easily carry it, then the less fingers, the more effortless it looks. And so the 2 would be tucked in, and these 2 would be the ones that you'll be using to hold the glass. Again, if you find yourself super tired trying to hold the drink throughout the night on foot, you can always use your left hand if you're right-handed as a base to help yourself, and then remove. Last and not least, the final glass for today's edition of this How to Hold Glasses is this beautiful snifter. I find it exquisitely architectural in a way that it is designed. So you see that the stem is too small, so there is no way we're going to be holding it by the stem. It looks a bit weird when you hold it like that. So the snifter is actually the glass that is for a small amount of distilled liquor. So it could be bourbon, whiskey, and all these drinks are actually to be warmed up, because when they're warmed up, the aromas are open up much quicker. And so in order to do that, you would be holding it by the bowl, so wrapping your fingers around it. Again, your index, your middle finger, thumb on this opposite side, and then you'd use 2 fingers to balance it. If, for example, you find it difficult to hold it like that and to balance it like that, but I think it's very easy because the majority of the drink is on a bowl and this is just the decoration part. If you find yourself struggling to hold it like that, you can use those 2 fingers to balance the glass and hold it like that, because again, these 2 fingers really allow us to steady the balance. But the recommended way of holding it is like that. Again, you can swirl it around, you can sniff it really well. And this beautiful snifter, I don't remember where I got it from, so apologies for not knowing the brand, but I find it very beautiful and it looks amazing when you have this laid out for a party at home. I rarely see this kind of a glass to be served in a restaurant, but if you see it, you know what it's meant for. Also, if you're interested in learning more in depth about etiquette, you can join my 2 pre-recorded online courses. One is called Western Formal Dining Etiquette from A to Z, where I teach you everything: how to step into a restaurant, how to exit it, how to behave at a formal dinner table. As well, you can join my The Art of Entertaining at Home, again pre-recorded online course where I teach you how to set up a table according to 4 different kind of seasons, and you also get to see my personal candle collection and how to take care of candles. And again, if you want to learn even more in depth about etiquette, you can join my Patreon Etiquette Movie Club, where every month I publish etiquette analysis of different kind of movies. So far I've done over 30 different movies, including some of your very favorite ones like Titanic, Devil Wears Prada, and so on and so forth. So make sure to join it and get exclusive content that's only available for my patrons. Thank you, and make sure to watch until the very end, because now I'm going to show you what I'm wearing for this video. So for this video, I opted for something that would be comfortable to wear but also look classy. I went for this really fitting, very soft sweater from a brand called & Other Stories. It has really nice v-neck. I really like any kind of a shirt, a blouse, a sweater that has a v-neck or an open round neck, because it helps me show my neck more and elongates the silhouette, and I really like that. And then I have paired it with a simple black skirt, again from the same brand, & Other Stories. I really like the brand. I am wearing a lot of things from that brand. Again, I'm not endorsing it, I'm not a brand ambassador, but I really like the quality of their items. And I have paired all of that with Chanel two-toned ballet flats. These have been with me for, I want to say, for about 9-10 years by now, and I just recently gave it to a shoemaker to renovate the color because it was already kind of getting more dull as I was wearing it a lot, but I think now they look especially clean and very nice. I always try to make sure that I take good care of shoes. If you haven't watched my shoe etiquette video, make sure that you watch that video. I share some tips of how to take good care of shoes. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!